Hello there, good evening, and welcome back to the Football Tribe YouTube channel. My name is Robert K. Sarkos, and thank you for tuning in from wherever it is that you're catching this from, whether you're just listening or actively watching. Thank you for taking the time. If you're new, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications. And if you're a regular, do not forget to like, comment, and share and help grow the channel. So, today we'll be speaking matters of FIFA World Cup, the Champions League, and other news from the Premier League, among other things. So, we'll get right into it. Now, the big news is that FIFA has awarded the right to host the 2030 FIFA World Cup to Morocco, Spain, and Portugal in that joint bid. Remember, just recently, as we spoke about the Pamoja bid won to host the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations was by Uganda and Kenya plus Tanzania. We did mention Morocco, who will be hosting the Africa Cup of Nations 2025 edition. Now, Morocco were already in a joint bid with Portugal and Spain to host the 2030 FIFA World Cup. However, this will not be like any other usual World Cup like many of you are accustomed to. If you remember, the last edition of the FIFA World Cup that was in 2022 that was hosted by Qatar was played in December, which was midway most of the European League seasons. But this time around, the difference will be we may not come in the middle of a footballing season, but it will be played across 6 different nations. Why? This is simply because the World Cup will be celebrating 100 years in existence. Remember, the first edition of the FIFA World Cup was played in Uruguay in 1930, with Argentina winning that edition. Now, as the other participants also included Paraguay. So, the 2030 FIFA World Cup will be played across 6 nations as FIFA celebrates 100 years of the World Cup existence. That means the opening 3 games will be played in Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay. Now, the 3 South American countries had also bid to host the 2030 FIFA World Cup, and kudos to FIFA. They played it smart here, awarding Spain and Morocco plus Portugal to host the main event, but while giving Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay a moment to shine as we celebrate their 100 years of the FIFA World Cup. So that's the interesting bit about it. So I think, like I mentioned in that video about the Africa Cup of Nations coming to Uganda and to Kenya and Tanzania, hosting the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations will put Morocco in a better position to prepare themselves to host fixtures from the FIFA World Cup. So, and that looks like it will be the case. Remember, the 2026 edition is going to be played in the USA with Canada and Mexico, 3 countries hosting the FIFA World Cup, and then in 2030 it will be 6 countries. But like I mentioned, only 1 game will be played in Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay, with the main event, including the opening ceremony, will be in the main host nations there. How that will be organized, we shall wait to see in the future if the Lord gives us the gift of life to live to see that edition of the World Cup. But that also means that all 6 teams will qualify directly to that edition of the FIFA World Cup. So we'll wait to see how it all pans out when that time comes. The other key thing to take note of is that Saudi Arabia have come out to say that they will be bidding to host the 2034 FIFA World Cup. Now, Saudi Arabia, they are not new in terms of footballing activities in the ears of global football fans because they have featured in at least 6 different World Cups, including the last one, where in their opening fixture they did beat up against Argentina by 2 goals to 1 under the charges of Hervé Renard. For the Morocco fans, the Zambia fans, those you should be remembering Hervé Renard very well there. So They will be putting in their bid to host the 2030 FIFA World Cup. And if you follow the sport so well, you know that in recent times, and particularly last summer, they've been actively shopping players from European clubs to go and play in the Saudi Pro League, and they have a number of stars there, including Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar da Santos Jr., you have Sadio Mane, you have Kalidou Koulibaly, you have Riyad Mahrez, uh, and you have Malcolm, and so many others in that league there. So you have a lot of stars there. The likes of N'Golo Kante, Karim Benzema, they have all gone to the Saudi Pro League, and they do have passionate fans that do follow the sport. So it better puts them in a better position. But more so to tilt odds in their favor is that FIFA have indicated that the 2034 edition of the FIFA World Cup will be hosted in either Asia or Oceania. Now, the Oceania Confederation has a number of countries, including but not limited to the likes of Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, among others. So those will be some of the countries that will be expected to put in bids alongside the likes of Saudi Arabia and any other countries from the Asian continent to host the 2034 FIFA World Cup. So big news from the world of football there at the international scene. So we'll wait to see how everything plays out, given that all this quite still ample time before we get to that. But then in the other news, away from the FIFA World Cups, it has also been indicated that Ireland and England, or UK, United Kingdom, or Britain, will host the 2028 European Championship, or the Euros. So keep an eye out on that. Remember, this next year's edition of the Euros will be hosted in Germany, and that of 2028 will be hosted between Ireland and Britain. There. So that's the news from the international stage. So away from all that, we'll move on to the Premier League, where action has been happening, including Monday Night Football that saw Chelsea beat up against Fulham by 2-0. Broja their own target, as well as Mukalo Mudryk scoring his first Chelsea goal after 24 games there since joining the club in January 2023 from Shakhtar Donetsk. So beautiful stuff as Mauricio Pochettino recorded his second victory of the season after 7 games there. The first victory was against Luton Town, where they beat them by 3-0. But that wasn't the only result from the Premier League. On Tuesday night, we had Burnley beat up against Luton Town by 2-1 for Vincent Kompany to record his first victory of the Premier League campaign. So that was that from the Premier League results. And then while that was happening, we're still in the midst of the VAR controversy from that Tottenham and Liverpool fixture that transpired over the weekend on Saturday in that late kickoff. Now, if you remember, Luis Diaz's goal was cancelled to have been offside, and yet it should have stood. So that controversy has been going on, and Jurgen Klopp has called on the Premier League to allow for a rematch between the two sides. This followed the release of the audio by Pidgeotto between the matchday officials and the VAR team there on how they conducted affairs during the day. So, but Premier League, according to the BBC, have come out to say that there will be no rematch between the two sides since it was judged to be a human error. But Liverpool asking for a rematch, I don't think we can get that far. It is not to say that in terms of footballing history, we've not had rematches when decisions have been bad, especially at the hands of referees. Here in Uganda, we did have a replay of the 2015 Uganda Cup between S Sports Club there and KCCA there due to bad officiation. If I remember correctly, it was Brian Miro Suga who handled the first game in Tungamo district, where the game had been hosted earlier before it was brought back to Kampala, and in the rematch AC Villa winning that game to win the 2015 Uganda Cup. The likes of Elisa Seksambu in that team, just when Engineer Ben Musaga was at the helm of the club. So, but back in the Premier League, it is said that the game won't be replayed. Otherwise, Mikel Arteta will dial it back to say, give us a rematch between Arsenal and Brentford last season, because we had Ivan Toney score a goal from opposite position, but it was allowed. So a lot of bad decisions have come up in the game, but have not forced the officials to send these games into a rematch. So I do not think we will be seeing a rematch between Liverpool and Tottenham. So, but that's it from that side. Continuing still with the Premier League, I thought I should use this opportunity to give you my team of the week that will be under Wolves manager Gary O'Neill, who saw his side beat up against Manchester City by 2-1. In goal, we'll go with Crystal Palace's Johnston, while in defense, we'll deploy a back three of Joachim Anderson of Crystal Palace, Craig Dawson of Wolves, and Levi Colville of Chelsea. Now, Levi Colville did provide the assist for Mikhail Modric to score his first goal as they beat Fulham by 2-0 on Monday night. In midfield, we will have a midfield of four that will have Douglas Luiz of Aston Villa, will have Martin Odegaard of Arsenal, as he helped his side beat Bournemouth by 4-0. Gerard Bowen of West Ham joins this team. He did score in their 2-0 victory over the weekend there. And then we have Chelsea's Conor Gallagher joining that midfield. And in the forward, we have Miguel Almiron, who scored our goal of the week. I thought he deserved this brilliant goal he scored against Burnley as they beat them by 2-0. And then Ollie Watkins, as they dismantled Brighton by 6-1 there. He did score a hat-trick. And as well as Douglas Luiz, who we already have in our midfield, did manage to score in that game. The other one is Carlton Morris of Luton. Now, Luton did beat up against Everton by 2-1 weekend, so he does join this team of the week. In the honorable mentions, we have Yildiz Bissouma of Tottenham, a very, very crucial player there as Tottenham beat Liverpool by 2-1. Matty Cash, Aston Villa defender there, very crucial as they beat Brighton by 6-1. John McGinn there, also from Aston Villa, brilliant game he had over the weekend, as well as Wolves' Pedro Neto in those honorable mentions. Pedro Neto had a wonderful game as Wolves beat Man City by 2-1. Now, moving forward to the UEFA Champions League between Tuesday and Wednesday, couple of good results and bad ones depending on which side of the aisle you fall. Arsenal losing to Lens by 2-1, as well as Manchester United losing by 3-2 against Galatasaray. Arsenal are playing away from home while United were in the comfort of their Old Trafford zone there. Casemiro given a red card in that game after Andre Onana caused them problems with a blind pass. Away to France, David Raya did play a blind pass that culminated into Lens finding the equalizer there before going on to win the game by 2-1. But mistakes did cost Manchester United at Old Trafford, where their summer signing Rasmus Højlund was brilliant in the game, scoring a brace in that one. So brilliant game of football. Wilfred Zaha, former Manchester United player, coming back to haunt them, if you remember those days. But he came back to haunt them as he leveled matters in the first half. So Mal Icardi also did miss a penalty in this one when Casemiro, when he was sent off for that foul in the box. Mal Icardi did miss that penalty, so the result could have been much worse. But Man United largely blamed themselves for the mistakes and allowing to concede easily for losing that one. And I do think Erik Ten Hag could be headed for trouble. Could be headed for trouble. Remember, they do play Brentford on the weekend before the international break. Now, Brentford are not on a good run of form. You'd think that they should be able to beat up against them, but you never know which Manchester United side is going to turn up and anything can happen. Should he lose that game, he would really be in hot soup. I think yeah, more question marks will start to rise again about his charges of his Manchester United team. So we'll run through all the results from the UEFA Champions League between match day from match day 2, that's on Tuesday, coming through to Wednesday, and here were the full results. So for match day 2, we had Braga beat up against Union Berlin by 3 goals to 2. That is in Group A. We had RB Salzburg lose to Real Sociedad by 2 goals to 0. Inter Milan beat Benfica by 1-0, while PSV shared the spoils with Sevilla 2-2 in that one. Copenhagen were losers at home, 2-1 their victory for Bayern Munich. Manchester United, like I've already said, did lose to Galatasaray 3-2. Real Madrid went away and beat up against Napoli by 3 goals to 2. There, Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Jr., some of those are players on target for Real Madrid, while the other was an own goal. Atletico Madrid on Wednesday did beat up against Feyenoord by 3 goals to 2, while Shakhtar Donetsk did beat up against Royal Antwerp by 3 goals to 2. Young Boys and Red Star Belgrade did share the spoils there, while Dortmund and Inter Milan also settled for a 0-0 draw. Now, the surprise result of the week had Newcastle beat up against PSG by 4 goals to 1 there, while Manchester City also beat up against RB Leipzig in Germany by 3 goals to 1. Barcelona were 1-0 winners against FC Porto, Ferran Torres there, while Lazio did beat up against Celtic by 2 goals to 1. In the Newcastle fixture, it was Miguel Almiron, Dan Burn, Sean Longstaff that were on target, as well as Shea. They are on target for Eddie Howe's side, while Lucas Hernandez did score the only consolation for Luis Enrique's side. Now, Luis Enrique should know that managers do not last at PSG if they go on to lose games, especially in the Champions League. So, those were the results for match day 2 of the UEFA Champions League, and that's all the news from the world of football. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Stay blessed.